Thank you, viewers, for joining us into this study. Today we shall be looking at still quadratic equation, but we shall be looking at another method of solving quadratic equation, which is known as the formula method of solving quadratic equation. Still on quadratic equation, and then we shall just be looking at the formula method alone of solving quadratic equation. And let's do a little review. Earlier on, we've studied factorization method of solving quadratic equation. We've also studied the completing the square method of solving quadratic equation. And here we have the formula method of solving quadratic equation. I could remember in our last video, I actually left one of the questions for you to solve. Some of you are still solving, some of you have already sent me your answers, and corrections have been made and sent back to each person who have sent me their results and the rest. And those of you who still are still solving, please, I'll find it very happy if you send me back your answers and corrections should be made and then sent back to you. Without wasting much time, let's just look at the formula method of solving quadratic equation. And we're going to just be solving just 3 examples using the formula method. And then from there, also in this video, we're going to also add another topic which is called discriminant. I'll tell you the use of discriminant and how it's being used. Then the last video we're going to be doing under quadratic equation has to do with the relationship between two roots. And please ensure you watch those videos, and I know you're going to learn a lot from it. And don't forget always subscribe to the video and then turn on your notification button, so as when videos are dropped, you get to it, like you receive the notification and then you watch and learn as fast as you can. And also please do send us your areas where you want us to create videos on, so as we can actually create it fast and then send it to you, so that we can meet up your scheme wherever you are, and then we also balance it. Don't forget that our major goal is to ensure that you get proper understanding of mathematics, every topic in mathematics. Now let's go back to this formula method. Earlier on, from completing the square method, I actually told us that the general format of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. And then from this, I actually proved the almighty formula. Go back to the video, the first example I solved, that's this example that I solved using the completing the square method. And then we ended up having this x equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over what? 2a, where b, ac, a are all real numbers. So let's apply this to actually get the view of what we're doing. This is the formula method. This is the formula method, quadratic equation, formula method. And then without wasting much time, let's solve just 3 questions. I'm writing the questions down. Let's say A, you're having root 3x squared plus 10x plus 8 root 3 equals to 0. So let's solve this question using the formula method. The first thing I'm going to do here is state out my formula. X equals to minus b plus or minus square root of what? B squared minus 4ac over 2a. I would advise you to have this formula on your head. Have this formula on your head. So let's go. Now the next thing is to identify the value of my a, my b, and my c. Already I'm giving root 3x squared plus 10x plus 8 root 3. Now my a is the coefficient of x squared. My a value a here is the coefficient of x squared, which is what? Root 3. So this is my a. Now the coefficient of x is my b, and then this is my c. So all I'm going to do is a is equal to root 3, then b is equal to 10, and c is equal to what? 8 root 3. So I'll substitute this into the quadratic formula. Thereby I'm going to have it this. X is equal to the first thing I have here is minus. So I have my minus. B is 10 plus or minus the square root of what's my b? My b is 10 squared minus 4 times a is what? Root 3 times I'm having my c which is 8 what? Root 3, all divided through by what? 2 multiplied by what? A, which is root 3. root 3. Okay, having this now, so I'm going to simplify where necessary. So I'll draw this way so that I can continue my solution from this point. Then I'm going to have here as x equals to minus 10 plus or minus the square root of 10 square here is what? 100. When I mean 10 square, when I say 10 square, I mean 10 times what? 10, which will give me what? 100. Then I'll have minus 4 times root 3 times 8 root 3. So when I have this, now I'm going to have minus 4 times 8 will give me what? That's I'll have minus 4 times 8. Then I'll have times what? Root 3 times root 3 here also. Then I'm going to have minus 4 times 8 here will give me minus what? 32 times root 3 times root 3 will give me root 9. Now root 9 is 3, so I'm going to have minus 32 times what? 3. So minus 32 times 3 here will give me minus what? 60 minus 96. That's what I'm going to have, minus 96. So I'm going to bring it down here. I'm going to have it right here as minus 96. All divided through by 2 times root 3, which is giving me 2 root 3. Then I'm going to have this as x equals to minus 10 plus or minus square root of 100 minus 96 will give me 4 all over what? 2 root 3. This becomes x equals to minus 10 plus or minus square root of 4 now will give me 2. All divided by what? 2 root 3. So right now I'm going to separate them. I'm going to separate them. So I'll have it as x equals to minus 10 plus 2 over 2 root 3. Also, my x is equals to minus 10 minus 2. Of course, you may call I have plus or minus here. So I have minus 10 minus 2 all over what? 2 root 3. So my x equals to minus 10 plus 2 will give me minus 8 over what? 2 root 3. Then my x equals to minus 10 minus 2 will give me minus 8 over what? 2 root 3. Okay, so I can just simplify them by reducing them. I'll do that here. So I'm going to have it as x is equals to, now you see 2 here can divide 7, which is 1. 2 can divide 8 also, which is 4. So in that part now, 2 into itself is 1, 2 into 8 is 4. So I'll be having x as 4 over what? Root 3, sorry. Minus 4 over what? Root 3. I'll have that there. Then I'll come down again. I have x equals to minus 8 over root 2. 2 into itself here is 1. Sorry, I think we need to go back a little. Minus 10 minus 2, it's not minus 8, it's minus 12 over 2 root 3. So by this now, please correct this to minus 12 over 2 root 3. So I have 2 into itself is 1, 2 into 12 here is 6. So I'm going to have there as x now is also equals to minus 6 over what? Root 3. So when I have this, I can actually stop here as my final solution, but I can still go further in simplifying. How? By having x is equals to multiply both sides by the conjugate of root 3. That is the multiplication of surds. I think you need to go back to our videos on surd for you to get this properly. So you have minus 4 times root 3 over minus, that's root 3 times root 3. Then x equals to minus 6 times root 3 over what? Root 3 times root 3. So this becomes x equals to, this time this minus 4 root 3. This time this will give me root what? 9. Then I have x equals to minus 6 times root 3 minus 6 root 3. Divide this time this will give me what? Root 9. So with this I can have it as x equals to minus 4 root 3 over square root of 9 is 3. Then my x equals to minus 6 root 3. So square root of 9 also is 3. So I can, at this point, I can't reduce them. So I leave this like this. But at this point, I can reduce them. How? 3 into itself is 1. 3 to 6 divided by 3 is 2. So at this point, I will have x equals to what? 2 root 3 as my final answer. Therefore, the root of this quadratic equation is x equals to minus 4 root 3 over 3. And my x equals to what? 2, minus here. So I'll have here as minus 2 root 3 as my final solution. So I will also solve 2 more examples so that we can get clarity of everything. The first step is substitute the value of a, b, c. After that, simplify the square root first. Then the last is splitting the plus or minus sign you're having together, then you conclude your solution. So let's quickly look at another examples. I'm going to clean the board again, once again, and then after cleaning, then we're going to solve more examples. So I'm going to do that. Okay, okay, let's have this question. So x squared minus 3x plus 3 equals to 0. Let's have this, and then we're asked to use quadratic formula to solve this. So quickly, I'll do that. X equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is my formula. So I guess by now you know what a is. A is always the coefficient of x squared, b the coefficient of x, and then c is my constant. So I'll just do that sharply. I say this is a, this is b, and also this is c. So no need of bringing it. Okay, I can just outline them as this way. A is equals to 2. B is equals to minus 3. Please be careful with your sign. This is not just 3. This is minus 3. You can only neglect plus because plus 3 is same thing as 3. But minus, please don't neglect it. Have respect for minus, I beg of you. So here it's going to be C is equals to 3. Then substituting them now, I'll have x equals to minus. My b is what? Minus 3. So I have minus 3 here. Plus or minus the square root of. My b is also what? Minus 3 squared minus 4 times. My a is 2 times my c, which is what? 3. All divided through by 2 times my a is what? 2. So I'm going to go down, then do this. Now take note, minus times minus here is plus, so I have just 3 there, plus or minus square root of minus 3 squared is minus 3 times minus 3, which will give me 9, minus 4 times 2, sorry, okay, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 3 now will give me 24, so I'll have it as 24, or divide this by this times this will give me what? 4. So if I simplify this further, I'm going to have 3 plus or minus square root of 9 minus 24 will give me minus what? 15, or divide through by what? 4. So I'm going to continue from this part here. So this simply means my x now is equals to 3 plus or minus square root of minus 15 over 4. But let's take knowledge from somewhere. This is square root of minus 15. I can't find the square root of minus 15. Reason being that anything I multiply, there's no value that I multiply that will give me minus 15. Even if it's in decimal, there's no value I'm going to do that. So this brings us to complex number, where we stated it earlier on that whenever we have square root of minus 1 is equals to what? I. Square root of minus 1 is equals to what? I. So you're going to see what I'm going to do here. But in case you don't really get what I'm doing here, you can still go back to my video on complex number. You actually get the value of this, the meaning of this. So this becomes x equals to 3 plus or minus square root of minus 1 times 15. So with this, all over what? 4. Then x times equals to 3 plus or minus. I can split this as square root of minus 1 times square root of 15. All divided by what? 4. Then from complex number that says that square root of minus 1 is equals to I, that means anywhere I see square root of minus 1, I should put I. So I'll bring down here x equals to 3 plus or minus. Square root of this now becomes what? I times what? Square root of 15 over what? 4. Then this multiplied by this now, I'll have x equals to 3 plus or minus square root of what? 15I over what? 4. See what I just did there? So I'm going to continue now. Okay, so if you've gotten this, then I'm going to split it now. I have x is equals to 3 plus square root of 15I divided by 4 as my final answer here. Or I'm going to have x is equals to 3 minus what? Square root of 15I over what? 4. Final answer. I can decide to leave my answer in decimal. Find the square root of 15. Find the square root of 15 here. Then 3 minus my value here divided by 4, that gives me my answer, and the same thing applicable to this place. You see, very simple. The first step, substitute it. Second step, simplify your square root, everything that is under the square root. Then the third thing is split it, and then you got your answer. Very simple, right? So let's solve the last one before we look at discriminants shortly. Go. Okay, so we have C now, which is minus 4x squared plus square root of 5x minus 3 equals to 0. Now, quickly, of course, you know this is your A, this is your B, and this is your C. So let's have our formula. X equals to minus B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all divided through by 2a. So I'm just going to substitute direct now. I'll have x is equals to minus my b, sorry, okay, let me state it out. My a is what? Minus 4. My b is what? Square root of 5. Then my c is equals to minus 3. This is 5. Okay, so let me substitute. X now is equals to minus. My b is what? Root 5. Plus or minus square root of b is what? Square root of 5. All square minus 4 times my a is what? Minus 4 times my c now minus 3. Please be careful with all this minus. It can change your answer. Then 2 times what? Minus 4, which is my a. So my x now is equals to minus square root of 5 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared simply means square root of 5 times square root of 5, which is square root of 25. And square root of 25 now will give you 5. So I'm going to have it as just 5 alone. Just 5. Then this is minus 4 times minus 4, which is minus 16. Minus 16 times minus 3, which will give me what? Minus 48. So I'm going to have it as what? Minus what? 48. Divide all through now by what? This time this will give me what? Minus 4. So I'm going to continue from here. Okay, so I'm going to have it as x is equals to minus root 5 plus or minus. Then I'm going to have square root of. Now let's look at this place. 5 minus 48. You see, I'm going to have it as minus 43. Divide all through by what? Minus 4. So with this, of course, you know what I'm going to have here then. I'm going to have x is equals to minus root 5 plus or minus square root of. I can express minus 43 as minus 1 times 43. All divided by what? Minus 4. Then I'll have it as x equals to minus root 5 plus or minus square root of 1 minus 1 times square root of 43. All divided by what? Minus 4. So x times equals to minus root 5 plus or minus, of course, I said it earlier on, that square root of minus 1 is equals to I from complex number. So this square root of minus 1 I'm having here, so I have I times 43. All divided by what? Minus 4. So this multiplied by this, I have x now is equals to minus root 5 plus or minus square root of what? 43i divided by what? Minus 4. So I can continue from this point now, which I'm going to have this as minus x is equals to minus root 5, okay, plus square root of 43i over what? Minus 4. And also I can have x is equals to minus root 5 minus what? Square root of what? 43i over what? Minus 4. If I like, I can do this as, I can just decide to factor out the signs here. X equals to minus, open a bracket, square root of 5. Here becomes minus square root of 43i. Divide here by what? Minus 4. So minus here can cancel minus. And then also this place I can have here as x equals to factor out the signs minus outside. So I have root 5. Then I have plus 43i over what? Minus 4. So minus here can cancel minus here. So my final result becomes x equals to square root of 5 minus square root of 43i divided by 4. And then x is equals to what? Root 5 plus what? Root 43i divided by what? 4. And this is my final result. Now listen to this. I can decide to leave my answers in decimal. Is that okay? That's my choice. Just find the square root of 5, square root of 43, and then I can't simplify further because the sorts are not equal, so I can't add or do anything there. But this is my final result of this quadratic equation C. Wow. The same steps and everything the same. So the first is my formula, substitute the formula. Second, finish up with my roots. That simplify everything under my roots, then split it. And that gives me what? My final result. Without taking much of your time because of time factors, I will advise you to go back to the other videos. The same questions we solve, use quadratic formula to solve them. You still arrive at the same answer. You will definitely arrive at the same answer. And also, for exam purposes, I always advise students to always use the formula method. Because you don't have to think of any factors that when you add or subtract them, you're going to have the sum roots, multiply them, you're going to have the product. You don't have to, you need to do those ones. You don't need to find the half coefficient of x and before you add to the both sides. No. All you just need to do in the quadratic formula is substitute them and be very careful with your signs. So I advise every student to please ensure they get this formula upstairs. Get this formula upstairs, understand how to use this formula. That will be better. That will be better for each and every one of us, most especially for our examples. So I do encourage students to please use this formula. The next thing we're going to be looking at now is discriminant, and I'm going to wipe the board now. Then I'll discuss a little about discriminant, then tell you the use of discriminants, and then we're going to apply them to some few questions.